I think it's really important that people understand that just because there's a bad outcome does not mean that medical negligence was involved. Hey folks, Erik Heninger here, trial lawyer in Alabama with the firm Heninger, Garrison, Davis in Birmingham. One of the areas that we focus on a lot here is medical malpractice or medical negligence. And we get a lot of calls about medical negligence, somebody wanting to sue the hospital or their doctor or nursing home or pharmacy for an injury that occurred where they believe medical negligence occurred. So I want to talk a little bit about what medical negligence is in Alabama. And I think it's really important that people understand that just because there's a bad outcome does not mean that medical negligence was involved. So there's a couple things that we try and keep in mind as we are evaluating medical cases here. Number one, these are very expensive cases. And so usually what is required by almost any lawyer in the state that's going to do medical malpractice is a serious injury. And I want to stop here and say that's difficult to tell clients who call because to them, every injury is serious because it affects their life. So we have to reverse a little bit and say, okay, let me tell you what juries in this state consider to be serious injuries. So it's not me. It's what a jury expects when they're considering a case against a hospital or a doctor. It's usually paralysis, loss of limb, death, or something that really prevents them from living a normal life. Those are pretty catastrophic injuries. Now, there are some areas that don't rise to that level that we will look at. But just understand, if it's going to be a case that's going to be filed and tried in the state, those are going to be some of the injuries that are going to be needed in order to put the money behind a case like this. So medical negligence involves a couple of things. It's you have to prove, or the plaintiff, me as a lawyer, prove what the standard of care is. When you think about standard of care, all that means is what's the rule? When you go in to operate on an individual with a heart condition, what's the rule for when you go in and open this person up and are performing the surgery? Or what's the rule when you're prescribing a certain medication? How is it done? So you got to prove that. What's the norm? What's normal for this situation? Second thing you got to prove is that the doctor, the hospital, the nurse, whomever, didn't follow the rule. So you have to prove the standard of care, and you got to prove that there's a violation of the standard of care. This person didn't follow the rule. They didn't do the normal thing. They did something different. And then you got to prove that by not following the rule, by doing something wrong, it actually caused an injury. You'd be surprised how often we get into a case and we can prove what the standard of care is. We can prove what the violation of the standard of care is, but we have a real hard time proving that those things actually caused the injury. So causation is another big part of a medical malpractice case. An example would be you typically have someone in a hospital. They're there because they need treatment. So they are sometimes unwell. Maybe they have something that needs to be repaired. Maybe they have a broken bone that needs to be placed through surgery. So for an example, someone goes in for surgery to their leg to repair a broken bone. We know that if the surgeon is going to place that fracture, he may use some fixation devices, screws, nails, or something to that effect. So go in there and place it. Well, we have a bad outcome whereby maybe we get an infection. Maybe we have to redo the surgery. And so then you're thinking logically, I had the surgery. I didn't have the infection before surgery. I had this infection after surgery. All my bad events following surgery must be because the surgery was done improperly. Well, that's not what happened. Most likely. We can get infections from anywhere. It could be the socks that you wear. It could be the pants that you wear. It could be the washcloth that you wash with or the pants that you're wearing. And so the infectious process you're dealing with was not caused by the surgery. It's caused by something else. So that causation is a difficult thing, and that's what we often see in medical malpractice cases. So 3 things that you got to prove: the rule, that the rule was violated, and the violation of that rule actually caused an injury. And like we talked about just a few minutes ago, the injury's got to be pretty severe in order for a jury to find against a physician or a hospital in this state. So I hope that gives you a little bit more information about medical malpractice in Alabama. Keep in mind, if you're watching this and you're not from Alabama, you're going to have completely different rules, or you could, because every state has different law in regards to these specific areas of practice. So I hope this helps. We'll have some more episodes about medical malpractice, maybe breaking down some of those areas a little bit more in the future. But if there's something that you really want to know more about, drop us a comment. We'll see if we can address it. Otherwise, please subscribe. We've got some more episodes coming soon. So thank you. Hope you have a good day.